Okay, this is Federalist 12, Part 4. Please remember to read along. It is important that you look at the articles, or look at the Federalist Papers, and read them along as we go on. If, on the contrary, there be but one government pervading all the states, there will be, as to the principal part of our commerce, but one side to guard, the Atlantic coast. Vessels arriving directly from foreign countries, laden with valuable cargoes, would rarely choose to hazard themselves to the complicated and critical perils which would attend attempts to unlade prior to their coming into port. Remember, in the past part, he says we need revenue for the government. The best way revenue would be good for commerce as well as agriculture if we stay united. If we stay united, it would be great both for commerce and agriculture, because that will somehow get revenue to us, money, so that we can run the government. And in the last part, we got to a point that he said indirect taxes are the best way to get most of the revenue for the government, and indirect taxes by taxing the imports, and all these imports would be coming by ships coming from the Atlantic Ocean. That's why he says the Atlantic coast. They would have to dread both the dangers of the coast and of detection, as well after as before their arrival at the places of their final destination. An ordinary degree of vigilance would be competent to the prevention of any material infractions upon the rights of the revenue. A few armed vessels judiciously stationed at the entrances of our ports might at small expense be made useful sentinels of the laws. If we just put a few vessels, a few ships close to ports of entry, we can watch what is coming in. But remember, he said, if we wait for things to come in and try to tax them, then that would be impossible, because it easily can be moved from one state to another, and we cannot put patrols like the French have. Our people will not accept that. And the government, having the same interests to provide against violations everywhere, the cooperation of its measures in each state would have a powerful tendency to render them effectual. Here also we should preserve by union an advantage which nature holds out to us and which would be relinquished by separation. The United States lie at a great distance from Europe and at a considerable distance from all other places with which they would have extensive connections of foreign trade. The passage from them to us in a few hours or in a single night, as between the coasts of France and Britain and of other neighboring nations, would be impracticable. He says we have this advantage because we are so far away from other lands, from other countries. It is not like France that you can send something from Britain to France overnight without being seen, without being detected. The distance is so long to our shores is that they cannot do it overnight and sneak in. They will be detected, so we won't be losing our tax money that way. This is a prodigious security against the direct contraband with foreign countries, but a circuitous contraband to one state through the medium of another would be both easy and safe. The difference between a direct importation from abroad and an indirect importation through the channel of a neighboring state in small parcels according to time and opportunity, with the additional facilities of inland communication, must be palpable to every man of discernment. It is therefore evident that one national government would be able, at much less expense, to extend the duties on imports beyond comparison, further than would be practicable to the states separately or to any partial confederacies. Hitherto, I believe it may safely be asserted that these duties have not, upon an average, exceeded in any state 3%. In France, they are estimated at about 15%, and in Britain, the proportion is still greater. There seems to be nothing to hinder their being increased in this country to at least treble the present amount. The single article of ardent spirits under federal regulation is ardent spirits, he means liquors, a liquor with alcohol, alcoholic beverages. But mostly they're not talking about beer, they're talking about strong liquor. Might be made to furnish a considerable revenue. So by putting excise tax on liquor, we can make some money, he says. And they even knew how much Americans drank. Upon a ratio to the importation into this state, the whole quantity imported into the United States may at a low computation be estimated of 4 million gallons, which at a shilling per gallon would produce 200,000 pounds. So if we put 1 shilling tax on every gallon of liquor that comes in or is used, not comes in, as is used and made, we will make 200,000 pounds of revenue for the government. Remember, they're still not into the system, monetary system, where they use dollars. They're still, because people are still more comfortable with using shilling and pounds because of the revolutionary, because of their past history. They're still using shilling and pounds for people to understand the amount of money that's going to be needed, used. That article would well bear this rate of duty, and if it should tend to diminish the consumption of it, such an effect would be equally favorable to the agriculture, to the economy, to the morals, and to the health of the society. So when we put an excise tax on liquor, maybe people will drink less, and that would be good in every way for the society, he says. There's perhaps nothing so much a subject of national extravagance as this very article. He's saying directly and indirectly that people consume a lot of alcohol, and we can maybe put excise tax on it, make money, and at the same time discourage people from drinking it.